Hello, and welcome to Alchemy Mindset. I'm your host, Anna Hastie, business mindset coach for women and a sound healer. If you are ready to become the most aligned, magnetic, and confident businesswoman you are worthy and deserving of being, then this show is for you. This is where I share everything from mindset, energy, and spirituality, and how to embody your future self in business and life. Sprinkle that with deeply relaxing sound healings and meditations, and you have the Alchemy Mindset podcast. Hit subscribe so you always get the latest episode. Now let's begin. Hello, and welcome to episode 89. This is the third interview in a series where I share the stories of incredible women following their dreams and ambitions, making big things happen. So in case you missed them, the previous two, episode 87 was with Brooke McIntosh, who originally last year ran from Karratha all the way down to Perth to raise money for mental health, and now is setting her sights on running around Australia in the shortest time possible, again raising money for mental health. So that's episode 87. That's an awesome episode. I'd love you to go back and listen to that if you haven't already heard it. Episode 88 with Rawson, a professional freediver who followed her heart through trust, surrender, and flow, and is now living her life teaching yoga, nutrition, and freediving. That's again an incredible story, episode 88. But here we are. Episode 89, and I'm excited to introduce to you bodybuilder and nutritionist Anna Jarvie. She's originally from Slovakia, but now calls the Pilbara region of Western Australia home, where she lives with her husband. She is the proud owner of Aligned Health and Lifestyle, offering educational workshops, nutrition, coaching, and meal plans both in person and online. Anna is a competitive bodybuilder and an incredibly passionate about the power of a positive mindset and the role nutrition plays in helping you operate at your best. Now, I met Anna way back when she lived in Broome, and this was long before her bodybuilding career took off. I have to say, watching her journey on social media has been nothing short of inspiring. Like, I'm actually fascinated when I watched Anna and the training she does, the meal plans she commits to, and how she is so driven, passionate, and dedicated to the end goal and results of walking out on stage as a bodybuilder. Like, I'm just fascinated. I'm just honestly fascinated, which is why I was like, Anna, you have to come on the podcast to talk all about this, because I'm sure it will be not only inspiring for those who might not necessarily want to be a bodybuilder, but want to feel inspired to go out there and achieve their goals and dreams, as with Brooke and Tara, but also to have that insight of like what the world of bodybuilding is like. I mean, that's an industry I have no information or knowledge or expertise on. So Anna had to come onto the show. In this interview, you'll hear how Anna has pushed herself to her third year of competing as a bodybuilder. And at the time of recording, she had just finished the first of 3 competitions, doing exceptionally well. And be sure to check out her socials to see how she did in the following 2 comps and her ultimate win at Nationals. I'm honestly so proud of Anna, and even though, I follow her from afar, I just love seeing her commitment and her energy around all that she does. She truly is very inspiring. Her passion, power, and dedication make her a true inspiration, showing how mindset and inner work can deeply impact your results. So stay tuned to this episode. Listen with all your ears open, because Anna actually reveals something really key that she realized during her time training leading up, I think, into these competitions, that literally was the key to her coming into this success. And really, she felt was a bit of a game changer as to how she approached her competition and the way she was going to see herself on that stage. Okay, enjoy this episode and let's begin. Hello. Welcome, Anna. Welcome to Alchemy Mindset. It's such a pleasure to have you on the show today to talk all about nutrition, about you, about bodybuilding. Oh my goodness, I cannot wait to start this episode. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to share my story with your listeners, my listeners. I hope is gonna be listening and tuning in. Yeah, where should we start?
Yeah, I know. Where do we start? Because we've already started having this amazing conversation like off the mic. And I'm like, gosh, it's always the way. I'm always like, we should just be pressing record, just starting at the flow of the conversation.
I know you should just press record and let's go.
Right. And I can tell this is going to be such a fun episode. Like, honestly, I'm so excited. So, just for the listeners, as a quick recap, this is the third episode that I'm recording with another exceptional, amazing, talented woman who is really pushing herself beyond the means and extremes, I would say. Basically, challenge yourself to go beyond the normal and also running an exceptional business all at the same time. So, Anna, I'd love you to just start with introducing who you are, what you do, and yeah, let's start with the story as to how you kind of got up to this current moment in time as we're recording this podcast. Let's go.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you. So, my name is Anna Jarvie, and I am a proud owner of Align Health and Lifestyle, which we just entered the third year in the business, which is super exciting. I mean, the time goes so fast. And I'm also an athlete. I'm a professional bodybuilder, and this season is my third year bodybuilding and technically 4 years prepping. So as you can hear, I'm not Australian. I am originally from Slovakia. So moved to Australia 6-7 years ago. And my background is hospitality. So I was in hospitality for over 12 years. Loved it. I had a best time of my life, working in so many amazing restaurants and amazing people, in London and all over the world. And then that's what I was also doing in Australia on the beginning when I moved here. But my health suffered quite a lot. Obviously, I didn't know as much about nutrition and training back then than I know now. And yeah, gut issues, skin issues, you name it, there was a whole lot. And if I went to the doctor and asked, like, what can I do? Like there was generally always suggested pills. And I was like, there's probably going to be a better way. So slowly looking into a little bit, eating better, not living on the coffees as you do if you work in hospitality.
I was going to say, like, hospitality all in itself has a whole like nutrition program in itself, isn't it? Because you're working late nights, generally you're working long days or late nights. So, health and well-being sometimes might not feel paramount when you're in that kind of industry. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. Look, you are always surrounded with food and beautiful food, and it's great. So that knowledge, again, I can implement now into what I do. But the timing, in working long hours, you don't really have a choice of changing, your shift. Like you're working Sunday, Monday, Christmas, New Year's, whatever it is. And yeah, long hours. So sometimes, yeah, there is no time for lunch. There is no time for dinners. And if it is, it's just coughing something on the go, which again, it's not the healthier things and not something you would do for a long time. But when you're young, you're like, oh yeah, you can push through, like I can do it. And yeah, it wasn't really like that when I came to Australia. I love the lifestyle here, like very chilled and yeah, always nice sunny weather, which we didn't have when I was living in England. And I was introduced to network marketing. I think that was my first year when I came to Australia. I didn't think much of it, but then, I hop on a call with this lady from England and she was telling me all about the health and wellness and well-being and, mindset. Back then I was like, mindset? What are we talking about? Personal development and all of that, and I really felt intrigued, if that's the word correctly said. And I was like, oh, I would like to look more into it. However, I had to still continue doing hospitality because I wanted to stay in the country. So, doing my regional work where I moved to Broome, where I met you. Yes. So I meant to go to Broome for 3 months, extend my visa and move back to Perth. Well, I never left Broome, stayed there for 3 years, met my now husband. And I'm kind of going off track at the moment. But back to that, I looked into the network marketing. I was like, oh, this is something, I can, learn a little bit. And I started it to just purely do it for me, like start looking into supplements and looking into gut health. And, back then I was like, what it is, gut health, looking a little bit more into, like my skin health and all of that. And then COVID hit. So that was a huge eye-opening. And obviously I was stood down from my job and I couldn't really do anything. So I was like, okay, I kind of looked into that as well. I was like, look, I love the products, I might as well start telling about this product to other people. On the beginning, it didn't have the most positive outcome because, as we all know, network marketing's got a very bad rep. It's a pyramid scheme, it's this, it's that.
Yeah.
But I kept going because I had this belief that there is something else, there is something more. I didn't know what it was, what's gonna come out of this, is it something like I really want to do, but there was nothing else to do. When it was COVID, everything, the whole world shut down. And then I think it was one of my friends. I was like, oh, don't you want to start studying nutrition and things? I was like, oh yeah, I can, have a look into that. But again, it was meant to be purely for me. If you ask me back then, do you want to have your own business? I would say, oh, are you on something? No, definitely not.
So the idea of working for yourself was like, no, never considered it, never came into my mind, never thought I could do something like that.
No, never. Like I was, network marketing, a little bit of, money on the side, things like that, like a bit of side hustle, but never really looking into having my own business, building something on my own. But as the time went, I started to like it even more and, talking to friends and it's like, oh, hey, I have this, I have that. And just giving them advice as I was studying, as I was learning, and also learning from other professionals, because once you are in a well-being sort of community, there are other people from other backgrounds and like you kind of soaking all of this knowledge and you just was like, oh, I actually want to know more, like you're hungry for more. And then, like I met you in like doing a little bit of sound healing and, meditation and all of those things, I was like, oh, maybe this is something I need to consider maybe changing. And I didn't see myself going back to hospitality. And I was like, I don't think it's a right move after that. Once everything goes back, I don't think I want to go to hospitality. However, I did go back, but only part-time. And I was studying on the side, still was having, still was doing a little bit of network marketing, and then my friend also, from Rome, I think she was competing the year before when I moved there, or can't remember which year it was exactly. She was also from Slovakia. She's from Slovakia as well. And then, like we kind of get together and we were training every now and then. And she said, oh, would you ever consider? And I was like, well, funny that, because when I was in my 20th, I always admire bodybuilders. I really loved it. When you are 20, it's not something that, at least I couldn't commit when I was in my 20s. It's a huge commitment. It's not like, oh yeah, I'm doing it now, tomorrow maybe not. No, it's a huge commitment and you have to be willing to do a lot of sacrifices as well. And I was not in the mindset when I was 20. I wanted to travel.
Yeah, I know. Like when you're in your 20s, you just want to have the freedom to go and do what you want, to party, to have fun, to experience the world. As much as you admire bodybuilders and the art form that it is, you're kind of like, yeah, that's a lot of dedication. I don't have that in my 20s. No way. Like, I just want freedom.
Yeah, exactly. Look, I was surrounded because I was training when I was in London. When I was in my 20s, sort of on and off, like nothing really serious, like obviously now, but always surrounded, like PTs and, Pilates instructors and whatever it was, like any class which was out there, to try it, I would go because, like I was fascinated, but, it was more like a hobby. It was nothing really, really serious. And I never knew. I was like, oh, I don't think, I would be ever able to do that because I didn't believe I have capacity, the dedication and discipline to do it, And then obviously now in my 30s, when she said, well, would you consider? And I was like, I think I would. I should give it a go, and it meant to be just one. And I said, like, let's challenge myself. Let's see if I can really do it, if I can really commit. So we started, and I think I was in my prep maybe like 3-4 months, can't remember. And I had to drop it because there were a few external things and mentally I couldn't commit, and I said, okay, maybe not now. It's still current training, but we're going to try another season. So then we went back once I was all settled with all of stuff behind the scenes. I was like, okay, let's try again. Let's be serious about it. Let's go. My preps were long. I do very long preps. My first one was nearly a year. Second one, I think 9 months. And this year was 8 months.
Right.
Which again, a lot of people do short ones. I don't personally wouldn't do it. I don't personally wouldn't recommend it because you can really trash your body. And yeah, it was very hard. So when people say, like, oh, bodybuilding is hard, it really is. And a lot of people don't understand how much work and dedication goes into that. And also, it's not just training and nutrition. You can train, you have the diet, but also you have to be really mentally ready for that. Like you need to be really on it and disciplined, like no relying on motivation. I was like, oh, today I'm motivated, tomorrow maybe not, so I'll skip it. You can't. I mean you can, but dedication.
If you have that end goal in mind, which is to win, right, is to get a place in the competition, right, and to do the best that you can.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, ideally.
Yeah, I've seen you, like I've watched you in your stories and on Instagram at how much you're like, I'm feeling really crap today, really low, but I'm still going to do my leg workout, or I'm going to get to the gym and do whatever I have to do. And I'm still going to maintain and stay on my eating schedule because this is what I want to achieve. Like I've seen the dedication that has gone through, like that you have moved through over the last 3 years. So it's really interesting to hear that you've always had this sort of interest in bodybuilding, but it wasn't until later on in your life that you've gone, all right, now maybe I've got the space and time to sort of really get in there, give this a shot, give this a go. How did it feel within that first year? How did it feel like when you were really seriously committing, like after you'd shuffled like and gone through, I know what was going on behind the scenes back there when you couldn't first commit, but when you finally were like landed and you're like, right, I've got the space and time to do it. Like what kept you going to get to the end? Because like, as you're saying, the dedication and the mindset and everything else that goes in it, it's all on you really. Like,
look, if I'm that kind of person, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do something. I'm not a person who's like, oh yeah, I'm going to do it and then quit in a few months or things like that. If I sign up for something, I'm going to finish it. And not only that, but you have a coach, like you have someone who gives their time and energy into you. And you're just gonna quit because it's hard. You choose your heart, you choose to do this. It was your choice. Nobody pushed you into that. Nobody forced you. Nobody had the gun next to your head. I was like, you have to do this. But not only that, I wanted to learn a little bit more how it is actually with all of the training, but also the nutrition, because I started to study and like I wanted to really see the changes, the swabs when you're doing the diet, like the measurements. You have to measure everything. You literally your scale is your best friend. And a lot of people would say this is disorder eating, or this is obsessive. This is a sport. This is a very different sport to any other sport, and this is how it is. 90% of everything is your diet, and it has to be on point. Second one is training, and like very specific training, and also to your body, how your body reacts to certain things. So there is a lot of science into it. There is a lot of things which goes into that. It wasn't even then, it was not easy because we were going to move to Karatha, which was not planned, but yeah, we had 4 or 5 weeks, 6, I think. Okay, we're selling our house, we're moving to Karatha. I was, still prepping, then, studying at the same time, so it was like, okay, we have to make it work somehow. I said to my husband, look, if you're moving there, we're doing all of the things, I'm not going back to hospitality. We're making this big move. I'm not going to work anywhere else. I want to finish this course. I want to, finish my prep, and let's see what's going to happen. And then I was like, maybe, I'm going to start looking into doing my own business, because I love helping people when it comes to nutrition and, and food and all of that. So I said, yep, no, I support you 100%. It's a huge move. And obviously you're moving for me because he got a job offer. Prep brain. And yeah, that's how it was. So we got to Karatha. I was like, okay, the first thing, where is the gym?
Where do I sign up? Where do I get my membership?
When I was in Burm, I was working out at the Live and Soul. So I was there for like 3 years or something like that. And they have Live and Soul in Karatha as well. But I was like, hey, let's maybe change it up a little bit. So I went to this huge gym, called Leisureplex. So there's like, they have pool, they have everything else. Not that I use it, but it's like, I want to just try something else. So yeah, that part was hard. It was very hard. I can't really say, that was easy. Plus building a business at the same time, I was trying to build something at the same time. But a lot of people go for bodybuilding for different reasons. I don't believe you should do bodybuilding if you're just doing it for the stage time. You're going to be on that stage for 2 minutes and then you're off it. You're putting all of this hard work and dedication for 5 minutes. I think you should sort of look into your why a little bit better. I went there for the journey, for a very long journey. I signed up for a very long journey, but also you need to be willing wait for the results. There's no, instant gratification, like he is going to be very delayed gratification. And if you're not into that, don't do it. When people ask me, it's like, oh, would you recommend it and things like that? I don't coach people to bodybuilding. It is something I am very passionate about. And if anyone wants to try, I would highly recommend it for one season because it does give you a lot. As long as you have a good coach who's going to coach you and you're going for the right reasons and the right attitude, then yes. But it teaches you a lot of things about you, why you're doing things in a certain way, why you think in a certain way, and how you're actually going to be thinking when you are tired, when you cannot eat much, you have another set of training going, then, everything else, the whole life, because the life doesn't stop just because you're training for bodybuilding, life goes on.
Yeah, everything still continues, right? You've still got friends who want to hang out and do things. You're still running your business, as you said, your husband and the relationship that you have with him. Like, you're right, life continues. You still have to pay your bills and you still have to do all the daily things. Yeah,
all of those things that people don't take into consideration. You can't just drop everything because, I'm prepping. Your environment is everything. It can make you or break you. And you will start seeing also people who might not support it or will be very supportive or might have, different comments because they don't understand. A lot of people have, funny comments to bodybuilding, but they don't actually understand what is it and what it's involved in that. Or they heard someone's bad story and they are like, oh my God, why are you doing this? You're damaging your body and whatnot. So it's very important you tidy up your environment when it comes to people. I lost a lot of people along the way because not everyone was sort of aligning with what I do. And it's okay. People come to your life for a reason or for a season. So the people who understand what I do and this is the way how I want to live, they accept it. They don't make stupid comments or, like they are very supportive. But then you have also people who are like, oh, you're coming to barbecue with your container, you might as well stay at home.
Yeah.
So it is very hard mentally because obviously you want to be sort of social, but also don't. And as closer you get to the show, you just don't really want to be around people, even your loved ones. You just want to have your own peace, and quiet and just sort of rest. At least I find it that way. And perhaps also the temptation is not there because every single season, every single prep was very different. The very first one, when I was seeing chocolate, I was going mental. We could not have anything in the house. I said to my husband, can we, if you want to have, chips, chocolate, whatever it is, have it, but just somewhere I don't see it.
Yeah. Wow.
And oh, bless him, like he's so laid back. I was like, yep, don't worry, it's fine. If I want something, I buy it somewhere else. Yeah.
Stuffing it all down.
He's not a huge snacker or anything, so he really didn't bother him as long as he had dinner and there was meat involved, so he wasn't really bothered.
Sure, yeah.
Just to clarify, he was not eating the same what I was. I mean, sometimes yes, but bigger portions.
I was going to say, was he joining you on the journey in terms of like diet-wise, in terms of like what you were permitted or allowed to eat, or was he able to eat more liberally around you in that respect, apart from snacking and chocolates and things like that?
Look, I am the one who cooks. And whatever I cook, he would eat. So he's not fussy. He's not like, oh, I don't want this, I don't want that. As long as there is meat, he doesn't care how I cook it, what I cook, As long as he gets fed, he was pretty much happy. On the very beginning, like because we just moved to Karatha and he had quite a lot to sink in with his work and he worked quite a lot. So he was not very paying attention to what I do, like what I eat and why I eat it, why I weight it, and all of those things, So technically he was kind of eating what I was eating, but like bigger portions, So
Sure.
I
Yeah.
was always, there was me sort of plainish. He always had sauces and whatever he wanted. So
Yes.
that's how it was the first season. Second season, it didn't bother me. Even I was like, oh, do you want something sweet? I'm happy to go to, to the corner shop and buy you. Like, it did not bother me at all. Like,
Wow.
he could have burgers, things next to me. Okay, fine, have it. We had chocolates and things every time I went, shopping. I always bought him some snacks and things for the weekend, because it's usually like for the weekend he would have it. Didn't bother me.
What do you think shifted within that? Like, how do you think that sort of became like, water off the duck's back, sort of like, yeah, whatever, doesn't bother me anymore. Do you know what like kind of shifted in there? Like, how did you get to that point?
I don't even know. Like, I think maybe, change of because the second prep I was doing, I've changed the coach. I had a different coach, so obviously my structure was different. My food was different as well. So on the beginning of a prep, I was allowed to have certain things, or it was sort of incorporate certain things. So I think that was that. And because I already knew what I'm sort of going for or going through, because it was going to be my second, not planned, because I was like, oh yeah, just one and done. But then I was like, no, I want to try again, because I think I can do much better than this.
Yeah,
There's
right.
still something I need to do, not to prove to anyone, to prove myself. Like, I can do a little bit better. I have so much potential. A lot of people say, I was like, oh, I'm going to do another one. Like, you have potential. Don't tell me twice. So I was like, no, I think I need to do it. But also, I felt like there is still something about me I need to learn. I need to figure out. I need to sort of dig a little bit deeper. A lot of self-work and a lot of trauma from childhood and things came as well, So yeah, so I said, no, we're going for the journey again. I need to dig more. I need to know more. And again, learn a little bit more also from my coach when it comes to the structure of the nutrition and things like that, because this is another level of nutrition when it was coming from her. And I said, this is also good for me to know and understand even more, to help my clients as well, like tweaking certain things when it comes to nutrition, because every single person is different. So I was like, let's see how it works, how you can incorporate and things like that. Literally, the nutrition, it's a science. It's like a science project, not everything works for everyone. Even, certain things would work on the first prep, didn't work on the second one, or first half did, and then the second we had to change it. So really, there is a lot of things you have to look into and pay attention to. And there is just, a lot of time as well. And you need to make that time around everything else.
Yeah.
So that was the second one, which I was already, like first for a year and a half into business. And the first year, like when you're starting business, it's not like overnight success. You have a lot of work to do. And I was doing a lot, and I had a few clients, but not a lot. You're still working on your back end things and all of the systems. I was never really tech savvy, and so it took me a long time to do things, changing systems. Something was just oh, it's working. No, it was not. And kind of the whole first year was like, oh, like, is this actually going?
It is. Like, your first year in business is a massive learning curve, isn't it? Like, because you're relying on yourself in so many aspects, and you're having to learn so many new things that you probably would never have had to learn or come across had you stayed in hospitality or you got a job working for someone else. So yeah, when you go into business for yourself, you are like learning a lot as you go. And it does take a while to get all those foundational aspects of your business up and running and started as you're trying to generate business and make money at the same time.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And especially when you're in prep, like you are depleted, you have brain fog, and you have to still going and still pushing. Closer you get, your sleep gets interrupted, your hormones get interrupted, your energy gets interrupted. I've lost period like very close to my second comp. First one, it was fine. So again, it's a lot of stressors on your body. But again, I want to make that clear. This is just a temporary thing. Because probably a lot of people going to hear it as like, oh my God, why would you put yourself through those things? this is a temporary thing and you're doing for competition. After that, you're going back to normal and start healing your body. So I just wanted to make sure that, people would
that's
not
a great
think like, oh my
disclaimer.
God, this is going to be like that forever.
But you're an athlete, and it's not uncommon for people who do push themselves beyond the extreme. Like I've heard that marathon runners, like professional ones that you might even Olympians, they often lose their period because they are under that, extreme physical stress in a way to get their body at a peak performance to be able to perform. And in that time, they may lose their period. It may stop, but it doesn't mean it's gone forever. It doesn't mean that they've, lost the ability to reproduce either, but it is the truth. Like when we do put ourselves under that physical duress, but like you said, and you've highlighted here that this isn't ongoing, it's just temporary while I get to myself to my competition level. And then after that, I somewhat resume life and I do the repair and my body goes back to normal. So
Yeah. So that was basically the first year of business, my second year of competing, learning all of those things. And I'm actually really, really grateful that we moved to Karratha because it just feels right. Not that it didn't feel right when we were in Broome. I just didn't feel for what I want to do, it's the place to be or to stay or to build as well. When we got to Karratha, everything kind of shifted and changed. And I felt like I'm at home. I'm in the right place. And even with the business.
That's great.
Even with the business, everything was, yes, who are you? What do you do? How you can contribute to the community. I introduced you to this person, that person. Then I got signed up for the KDCCI membership, which has been recommended to me from my business coach back then. And that was probably the best thing because I met so many people, but business people, working people, obviously Karratha is, mining people work there. Whereas Broome is more holidays and, let's chill by the cafe.
Yeah, it's got that tourism backbone behind it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, like when people hear your accent, I was like, oh, you're not from here. You're probably a backpacker. You're probably going to leave, in 3 months. I was like, no, I live here. But as here, nobody will ask me, oh, where are you from? Or when you're leaving? Or are you local? Or no, what do you do? And how can you contribute?
So you felt very much welcomed into the Karratha community and particularly starting your business there. Wow,
Yes.
that's so good.
Yeah. And I'm a very good friend, Antonia. I met her in Broome and she moved to Karratha before me. So it was really good because she was like, oh, you should, I speak with this person and that person. So I was like, where do I even start, And that slowly built this network, behind it. So I got also nominated for Best Startup in Karratha from KDCCI, which was huge thing. I was like, oh my God, 1 year in business. And I was like, look, just, just to be nominated, it was a huge thing. Even just doing the application itself, it was huge. Yeah, I was like, oh my God, all of those questions, I don't even know what to write. Like it took me weeks. My husband was helping me obviously to write it to make sure it sounds English as well. And I was like, oh my God, we got it there. So it was like just something I never thought it can actually happen, especially when you're on the beginning, So I was like, oh my God, amazing thing. And then third year into competition. So
I was going to ask, what made you go, all right, I've done 2 years. I can see the difference between my first and my second year, like the improvements I've made. Because I watched you on your second year and I was like, whoa, you really stepped up within your second year. You could see how much you had improved within your body. I think I was watching you in your stories, you were learning how to do all the posing and the presentation that you have on stage. And you were like, this is really not natural for me. This feels weird, but I'm going to learn this. And just seeing that improvement from your first year to the second year was incredible when I just, following you, living vicariously through Instagram. But yeah, so what made you go, all right, at the end of it, the second year, go, all right, I think I've got another year in me. I think I can do this again. What happened there that pushed you into the third year?
I think variety of things. The fact that I placed on my first one, I didn't place. Second, I placed.
What did you get on the second one?
I was fourth in sports 30 plus. So I signed up for 4 categories, placed in one. So I was like, ooh, another year, we gone a little bit closer, we can, we can do it again. I loved working with my coach, and I wanted to see what else we can bring. If that's where it comes to when you were asking me about the package.
Yes, I was going to say, I need you to
You know,
explain to everybody what the package is, because I asked about the package.
so that's basically a bodybuilding term. It's improvement, from year on year. So when also we got the results from the judges, each part to improve and all of that, and I was like, okay, let's work on it. You're already that far, like we might as well do one more. And I said, this probably gonna be my last one, if you want to, start a family next year and things like that. So we might as well just push it as much as we can. But also, talking about the posing, I didn't pay much attention to it on my very first one. Hence, I was looking very oddly on the stage. Everyone is in a one line and me, the odd one. I started to pose like a couple of months out, which is already way too late, way too late. And I didn't think that, it's that important. And, my coach back then, she wasn't like, oh, like you need to practice more or anything like that. And it was not natural. It was not natural, and it also, it's very hard to hold the position for that long. You have back pain, like you need to do a lot of physio, you need to do a lot of stretching, lots of massages. And it's actually, the posing sometimes can be harder than the whole training.
Wow.
You
You'd never
really
guess, because you just think
yeah.
you're just standing there holding your hand or your leg out and then that's it. But there's a lot more that goes into it.
Yeah, but because you have to, you have to hold it, you have to, suck it in, like tense everything, it has to be, a certain way. And I hated it. I hated it with passion. It was not natural. I just couldn't get it right. Obviously, the first year I didn't really practice and I didn't want to pay extra for a posing coach. So again, it's my fault. And for the second one, when my coach was like, no, hello, we need to improve this posing and we need to start way longer. I was like, really? And she said, yeah, absolutely. Like you need to, really need to have that stage presence, because that's also something you are judged on as well. And I was like, oh, okay. And we practice. She drilled me so much. Like I had back pain all the time. I was going for a massage and things like that. And I was like, no, we need to keep going. But still, I improved. I looked so much better. I could pose, with my eyes closed. It just did not feel good. I look good. And I was like, oh my God, Anna, you look good. Yes, I look good, but it just doesn't feel good. What is the issue? What is the problem? What is my problem?
Yeah.
And that's something I found that in my third prep. We were practicing and things like that. And I was like, oh, especially when you do wellness category, when you have the bikini, like you need to look, graceful. You need to look elegant and things like that, be really feminine. And I just could not. And I was like, why? This year, I was doing a lot of meditation and a lot of journaling and a lot of really digging deep. What is it that it doesn't really feel good about this? So after months and months and months of working internally on myself, in one of my meditation, what came out was my feminine energy. I was so much in my masculine energy, and that the feminine was just non-existent. People who know me, they know, like, yes, I'm very masculine. Yes, I am the one who has the pants, but it has to be balanced. And here is why. It started to affect a little bit the relationship with me and Matt, because, like, especially this year with business been booming since beginning. I don't even know how that happened. It's just boomed,
That's so
and
exciting.
I was so busy and I was so into the prep, and I was always like working in my office, and Matt always came and I was like, oh, I just came to give you a hug and kiss. Every woman would die for that. And I was like, what did I do? I just brushed him off. No, I'm busy. What I told you, like, don't bother me, when I'm busy, like, you're distracting me. I'm in my zone, what are you doing? Yeah, terrible. And I didn't notice that is actually a problem. And after that meditation, so it's called activation meditation or something like that. It's in one of the yoga studios up in Croatia. And I cried throughout that meditation, and I was angry because what was coming when she was, talking about the lights and things, Matt was coming there. And I was like, just get out of my head. This is my time, to rest, like to bring, good energy, good intentions for the month. I was going like every single month. And I was like, why is he there? And it made me angry, that this is not how you should be feeling on meditation. Like you do meditation and this is not right.
That's right. You're just like, no, this is not right because this is my time. Why are you appearing? But he's
Yeah.
appearing for a reason. Am I correct?
Exactly. And then, after everything, the facilitator ask everyone, you sit around and, like how it was for you and what do you want to share, please share. If you don't want to share, don't share. And then my turn came and first I didn't want to share. And I was like, maybe I'll share, and I started to cry and I told her what I saw and why I see it. I don't want to hear it. This is not. And she said, I could feel that you were angry. I could feel resistance. I could feel sadness. Yeah, I'm sad, like they just like that. Oh my God, so dramatic, But that's another thing, like when you are so low in prep, your hormones go up and down, up and down. So yeah, you cry even if you don't have to cry. And she said, you're starting to find your feminine energy. You are so much in your masculine and, like you don't know how to receive love. Let the love come in. Be more feminine. Like you need to find that feminine because, like you're going to start having issues like with your husband because obviously he, like there needs to be a balance. Like you let him be the masculine one, take your, feminine energy and use it as you should, and I was like, oh, okay. Like I think something shifted back then and I got home. I told him, what happened and why I'm not like that. And I was like, oh, I'm glad you told me because I thought, you don't love me or you have, some sort of issues. No, of course I love you, but it's just me working on myself, me trying to figure out what's going on underneath and why I'm like this. And again, this goes back to my childhood, like, yes, I had to grow up very quick and, look after also my younger brother. And, like we had to work, I started work when I was 15, 16 and just had to push all of that back and just be the provider, be the one who is doing things all the time.
Yeah.
It's okay to let it go. It's okay to, not be always the one in charge.
Yeah.
And that's also what changed when it came to my posing. Because next day I got home and when I was practicing, I put my heels on, put my bikini on and everything like that. And, like I look at myself, yes, I look good, but I also starting to feel good. Yes, I should feel good. I should feel, this is slowly coming natural. And that's how it all sort of shifted for me when it was, coming to the posing and the whole journey behind it, what actually came out throughout the year. And I'm there for the journey. Yes, it's great to place. Yes, it's great to get all of those medals and things like that. But that will never outweigh the journey and the learnings from it.
That's incredible. What an incredible story. And what an incredible realization to have going into your third year that there was this missing element of you, not within your training, not within your diet, and not within like the coach that you have, but just knowing that this work has helped shift and create more inner development within you. And that's a realization of coming into your feminine energy and your feminine power and knowing that that is a key aspect of the bodybuilding process and work that you're doing. And I think also like for you being a business owner, as business women, we often forget to sit within our feminine energy and to receive and to take time to take care of ourselves in loving, nurturing ways because we have been conditioned and we have been told that the only way to build a successful business is to hustle, to work hard, to be driven, to be motivated, never give up, set the goals, achieve them, et cetera, without allowing some sort of softness and flow and love and care for ourselves and the work that we're doing and adding in those beautiful elements that we are naturally gifted with into our business. So I feel like you having that realization within yourself, have you seen that flow out into your work as well, into the business and the coaching?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And especially this year, because again, this prep was very hard. Last year I breezed through. This year was, at some point, it was hell.
Yeah, right.
I was like, far out, why am I actually doing this? And there were so many times I was like, I just want to quit. I was like, this is just too hard, because there was so many things I learned about myself, all of those little things were popping out. Business was very busy, and I had so many clients, and I was doing a lot of workshops, and it was just a lot. And also, now I was at the stage, I think it was like July, and I think that was probably the biggest cash month I had, just second one. And I felt terrible. I remember it was like 6 p.m., and I got literally 2 or 3 new clients, all paid in full, like locked in for 3 months. I had another 3 emails with people who wanted me to, present the workshops. And it was just so much abundance and so much things coming in, which is a good thing. But I felt like I'm not worthy of it. I could not, I didn't make space for that sort of money income. And then, like the bad money mindset also came in, like you're not worthy of it, and all of that, And it was 6 p.m. Matt came home, and I was, literally crying. And he said, "What happened?" And I was like, "I have 3 new clients. I have all of these inquiries and things." I was like, "Oh my God, babe, that's amazing. Well done." I was like, I don't know if I can handle it. I was like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, so much more. I was like, "You work so much, so hard, all of these, like literally like another second year." And I said, yes, like the fruitation finally coming. And I said, "But I don't know if I can handle it." And I was like, "No, I think you're just tired." And, obviously the prep and everything is just kind of coming in as well. So again, another thing I had to sort of learn, how to receive and be happy for it. Like a lot of people would like receive cash and they would be like, yes. And you're unhappy. It's not like unhappy, but I just didn't create a space. It was just too much too soon.
Yeah.
And at the same time, like my VA left me. So there was another hurdle on the top of that. So, like you're very low, like with video food, you just all you want, it's food. This year, it was like on the roller coaster. There were times when I was okay with, people eating around me. There was a time and I was like, "No, you're not going to eat nothing around me, or I'm not going to go anywhere because it's just really distracting me." And I know I would buy something somewhere, So then I was again, okay. Then again, it was not okay. It was like really up and down, up and down. I've lost my period earlier than last prep. My brain fog was crazy at some points, And what do? You just have to keep pushing. You just have to keep going. I have to admit, I've been heavily caffeinated pretty much every single day, even though I'm not a person who drinks that much caffeine. But desperate times, desperate measures. So it was just a roller coaster. And then there was one day when I had this, this brain fog, and I was tired, and, my sleep was interrupted. I woke up 5-6 times a night and all of that. And I just sat there and I was thinking, like, okay, this is just a temporary thing. I'm doing this for competition, which I love. I love bodybuilding. How can people live like this for years and years without even an end goal? So you're not like you're putting your body through stressors like this for a reason. But there are so many people out there putting themselves through this for no reason.
Yeah. They just they exist in that realm without like going into a competition. Like they're not training. They're just living life in this way.
That's not living, you do, this is a temporary thing, but some people have constantly brain fog, sleeping badly, constantly tired, losing period. They don't even know, and they think it's okay, not doing anything about it. And they classify that as it is,
as normal. That's just normal for them. But it's not normal, is it? It's abnormal.
No, it's not healthy. It's common. Yes, it's common, but that doesn't mean it's normal or it's healthy. And then you have, me doing it for a temporary thing. And then people are like, "Isn't it too hard for your body?" And I said, it is. But you have to look after your body, and you have to have healthy body to get you through it. Your body will get you through it if you look after it well. So you have to give it some love, because it's not just, I'm just trashing my body with whatever it is. And you also need to consider the reverse diet and everything after it, and that's also another huge part to do, and to do it correctly as well. So you go and shift back. Not that, first couple of times, I did what I could, but I said this year I really want to pay more attention to the recovery and to the reverse thing as well, as much as I can, and really also try to document it and see the changes and things like that when we go back, especially now, because, if you want to start and planning family next year, you need to have strong, healthy body, period. I say to people, oh, show me your abs. And I said, I would gladly, give it up the abs, but I want my boobs back, because that's obviously the first thing which goes. So it's not just about the look. You need to feel good. When I say to people, obviously I want to put back on weight, and, where I feel more comfortable, it's like, put on weight? Why? You worked, nearly a whole year and you want to put on weight? And I was like, yes, I want to, because this is not good.
You can't sustain that. You've shown the amount of work that you have had to go into get to that result. You can't sustain that, because it's an exceptional elite level that isn't normal in a normal living situation or environment to maintain.
Yes. And if anyone think that you can sustain the stage look, you are very mistaken. Yeah, it's not sustainable, it's not healthy, and it's not happy life.
Exactly.
It's just a temporary thing, and then you just go wherever you feel comfortable, and that's what you're going to be maintaining. So I think where I was most comfortable, I think, was when I was 12, 11 weeks out. I think that's where I would like to reverse back to. That's where I felt comfortable. It's sustainable, it's maintainable, it's healthy. So that's sort of where I probably would try to go and reverse back. Again, it has to be properly monitored with your coach, do some blood works and stuff, which I did prior. Obviously, the tests were not great because you're doing what you're doing. So they have to be all back to normal. My hormones needs to get back to normal and everything like that.
And when you come to that end point, so when you're finishing, because you're doing this year 3 competitions, whereas last year you've just done 1. Is that correct? So this year doing 3. Congratulations for going next level. That's amazing. 3 in your 3rd year. How amazing. When you finish all of these competitions, what do you do to ease yourself back? Because I can only imagine that you don't want to just completely binge, completely just let everything go. Is there stages to revert yourself back to where you want to be healthily? Or do you just sort of go with the wind and just eat what you want?
This is very difficult. It has been quite difficult, because my very first straight next day, we jumped on the plane and we flew to London, and we were in Europe for 7 weeks. So yes, I was trying to do my reverse diet as much as I could, what I could maintain-ish, obviously eating out and traveling, because we were every 3 days, we were in different country. So yeah, look, not ideal, but I did what I could. We got back to Karatha, and I was shattered. I was confused. I was just lost. I could not find balance. I could not find anything. It got to the point, it was very close to Christmas. And I said, no, I'm not going to be taking any clients. I'm shutting the business for the rest of the year. I need to rest. I need to figure out in my head what I'm going to be doing now, change my routine and everything, completely restructure, because nothing was working. And that was my first one. Last year, so I had 3 weeks after my comp, and then was my wedding.
Yes.
So again, I tried as much as I could to sort of reverse it slowly back. Training, I kept my routine very similar, but not as aggressive, not as always stimulated as much, do your steps, do your training, keep your diet, keep your timings as well, as much as I could. But then again, my family was coming, Matt's family coming, everyone was sort of here, you're going to eat here and there. So again, sort of navigating, trying not to give in to all of the indulgements as much as a little bit, but not crazy. Especially, I was I had to fit in that dress, and I tried the dress before my comp, so I was that, no pressure.
Yeah, exactly. I just make sure I look like I was at week whatever.
So again, another challenge to sort of see, how it goes. I could have done better, but I did what I did. But this year again is going to be different because I have 1 week. I got back after my last comp. I have 1 week, which I have fairly busy week with work. I had 3 very big workshops. And then we have the Excellence Award night on Saturday, and then we're flying to Japan on Sunday.
Right. Wow. So again, you're cramming in a lot after your competitions, right? Not much of a grace period.
Let's not be boring, right?
Yeah, I know. You keep it consistent, right? Keep it with consistent with all the other years.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I've been thinking about it quite a lot. What can we do better? How can we do it better so that I'm not gonna be, oh my God, overeating or overindulging on things like that? I don't want to be food focused. Yes, we're going to Japan. Japanese cuisine is my absolute favorite. And yes, we're gonna be eating, but I don't want to be food focused and just eat everything now because I can. The first week, I'm just going to keep everything as it is, just with a little bit more food and start introducing more food into my diet because obviously my digestion is off. My gut is a little bit off at the moment. So I just sort of work on that, keep my supplements when I'm taking. Once we get back, I'm going to do new blood tests. I'm going to see what else I need to introduce back to my diet, what supplements I need to take, or if I need to just carry on what I have, or I need to sort of restructure. So I'm going to be also working alongside with obviously my coach and the clinical nurse, which I work with as well. So she's looking after all my bloods and everything. So she's making sure that it's going to be all well and good. So yes, that's all what I'm going to be trying to do because it is hard, especially when now I can. Yes, you can. But again, you want to healthily go back and find where you're sitting the best. Last year, when I got back to Karata and I had like that was man because I was here for a couple of weeks and then I was on such a high and then I got back and I had Monday by myself. My husband was at work and I was literally not depressed. What would be the correct word to use? I was just, like happy but sad and crying. And I had, I had a call with my coach and then with my business coach, it's like, what's happening? It's like, it's fine. You just, you kind of have to come down from the cloud 9 and do some reflection and realization and kind of slowly get back to normal things. So that day, yes, I ate everything and anything. It was just like never end. It was just I ate. It was like it's just I don't know where it is going. But that was only one day. One day, next day, like nothing happened, everything back to normal.
Yeah.
It's just weird. Every year is just weird.
Yeah. It gets like you never, as much as you can set yourself up for each year, you never know what the result is going to be or the outcome is going to be or how that season is going to have affected you until you get past that moment of the competition, right? Because it looks like at the end of each year, you had different obligations, like things in place that you were going to go do and experience. So having to navigate all that as well as like coming off that high, because that's what you're riding when you're in a competition. Like I know from performing on stage, like it's a high and the excitement really is sometimes not performing on those stage. Like you said, for 2 minutes, you're on stage, right? It's everything leading up to that moment, even the moment when you're getting your spray tan, you're putting your outfit on, like it's everything up until that moment, which is the culmination of standing on that stage for 2 minutes. Like that is so exciting within all itself. And then you get off the stage and you're like, it's done. Now what happens? And it's like post-holiday blues. You come back from the most amazing holiday and then you're sort of facing back with reality and life and you're like, oh, now what happens? Like it's different. So yeah, I can imagine that this year again, you're probably navigating something new, even though it sounds like you're setting yourself up for a lot more of a shock or a crash in a way to ease your way back into what you feel will be normalcy within your life, your lifestyle, and what will fit in best with what you want and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just interesting, to see like obviously now 3 competitions back to back, like how I am mentally as well. I don't know, on last Sunday after last comp, oh girl, you're not, like the work is not done. What are you doing? Like you really need to be mindful and keep your discipline because it's very easy to make the decision not to,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can imagine like this year going, oh, I've got 2 more comps to go. What do I still have to do? Like I still have to work. I still have to maintain myself. I still have to improve on something. Like, are you serious? where
Yeah.
it's not over yet.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then I was like, oh, then we have one more, but it's getting like it's easier throughout the week. It has been super, super easy. I was like, oh, I can do that. You know, I was like, oh, no issues whatsoever. You know, so no, definitely something that I did not expect is going to happen. And yeah, it's look, people say bodybuilding is hard, building a business is hard. Put them all together.
Yeah, exactly.
Choose your heart,
Wow.
but also when people says like, oh, I really admire you, because it's very difficult, to build a business and also to do what you do. Like, it's hard. And yes, I am. And it's like, how do you finding it? And I said, I am so much better and disciplined also when it comes to my business when I'm on prep than I'm off prep. Everything is like really super dedicated, not that I'm slacking off when I'm off season, but like everything is just switched on and you just on the go. It helped me, like it did really help me to build what I build because I'm not just building the body, I'm building the business at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. So laser focused on what you're doing to reach this bodybuilding competition, that you're creating this laser focused energy within your business as well. Yeah.
So you kind of have to split that focus in sort of two. So there you have two goals, where last year there was a time when I actually started to put more effort and energy into my prep rather than business. And then I had to kind of course correct. I was like, hold on, Anna, hold on. Like they're both important. They're both going line in line. And you need to, you need to make that clear because there were, I think it was like 1 month when I was like, oh, it was all about the prep and things like that. And I was like, hold on a second. This is not what you're doing for a living. It's like, hold on. Like I said, this year it's my last one. That's why I also decided we're gonna go all out, do 3 comps back to back because it's gonna be my last one for a while. It is something I would like to go back to once, obviously after kids and things like that. It's something I would like to do it again. But at this stage, I feel like this, I need a break. I need sort of reshuffle a few things in our life and start a different chapter next year or year after as parents and things like that. But in saying that, I would like to keep the lifestyle I have at the moment. Obviously, not the extreme, but I don't think, I'm going to stop meal prepping, stop waiting, like not crazy amount like now, but I'm going to keep going what I'm doing. I'm never going to stop training. I said, until I die, I'm never going to stop training. Like training's going to be there. Even if I'm pregnant or things, if I'm allowed, if my body allows me, the training's going to be always there because it makes me happy. It makes me alive. It gives me something, So all of those things stays just not in that extreme. So.
Yeah, I love it. I think that's so exciting. I think it's so exciting for you that you're doing this culmination, 3rd year in, doing 3 competitions. Let's see how this all rolls. But knowing that, yes, this is part of the season of what your life has been in. And I love the reflection that you've had there with your business of how working alongside your business and working on the bodybuilding, how they have energetically kind of gone hand in hand. And that the realization of like, well, I can't divert my attention all to one or not to the other. Like they have to be equally taken care of. And then also having that reflection of like, well, what else do I want beyond this? And for you and your husband, it's to build a family, to make a family, to have a family. And then, but you also see it like maybe in the future, because there is no real age limit on this. Like you have like categories that are of women or men who compete much later in life as well. So
I bump into a guy in the gym and he is 58 and still competing. So, but look, if you look after your body, you can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's no limitation. Like, I mean, even if it wasn't for bodybuilding, maybe you think there's something else that you'd like to do. You've got the discipline and the dedication, and you've got the mindset to get you through it to be able to achieve those things. And that goes for anybody. You don't have to do all these things in your 20s or your 30s. Like age is limitless in a way. When you, like you said, you take care of your body and you do everything in the right way, you can get and meet and succeed in those levels and goals that you want to do within your life, like that athletic performance. So,
and I think also when you get older, I think your mindset is better And I think it would be more suitable for you because, I want to do it when I was 20. My mindset was weak as shit, like it's
Love
nothing
it.
compared to what, what I'm now. And I always tell people, if this is something you would like to do, work on yourself at least minimum 1 or 2 years on your mindset first, take all of the pros and cons of it and train and start learning about nutrition, start learning, like how to actually weigh and things, your food correctly. Then, sign up for the competition, not just do it because you want to do it and you have no idea what's going in there, because that's where people suffer mentally. And I know a lot of people who went through the whole prep and they were literally 2 weeks out and they had to quit because mentally they could not cope. The pressure you have, and keep going and, obviously living very low body fat percentage, brain fog, or very little food, more workout to do. If you have, not supportive environment, you crack. So that's why work on your mindset first, training, nutrition, and then sign up for something like that. If this is something you have in the back of your head
as what you want to do for yourself. It's something that you want to achieve for yourself.
And learn, go there for the journey, learn about yourself, learn, about your body. You need to be connected, mind muscle connection. It has to be there. It's not just go to the gym and lift some weights, like it has to have really meaning.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I think that's such a great place to end this podcast, Anna. I think you've shared so much about your journey into bodybuilding and what it has taken you to get to this end result. I just want to say congratulations for the listener. Anna competed in her first competition last weekend prior to this recording. And what categories did you enter and what places did you make?
So I've entered sports model 30+, sports model novice, sports model open, and wellness. And placed 4th in sports open, sports 30+, and 4th wellness.
Well done. Congratulations. That's an incredible achievement. Well done. That's amazing. I just love seeing your photos and how you were just so lit up, standing there with the medals, with, doing your posing. I just loved it. I loved seeing you on your socials, just celebrating the hell out of your achievement and what you got to, and just seeing you stand there on stage. I'm like, this girl's nailing it. She has improved so much. It's incredible to see that. So congratulations.
Thank you.
I really do hope that, and I send you so much love and fun and enjoyment for the next 2 competitions as well, because, hey, if you're not having fun, what are you doing up there, right? So
yeah, I know, right?
So I really do send you so much love and so much fun and enjoyment in the next 2 comps. And I can't wait to see what your end results are for those as well. What an amazing experience.
Oh, thank you, Anna. Thank you for having me and sharing my journey.
It's been so much fun, and I'm so happy to share this episode with the listeners, because I think you've really sort of opened up that world of bodybuilding, which, like you said, does come with labels, does come with stigma and opinions. And I think what the message I've seen in behind this whole entire conversation and story and journey is that the inner development that's gone on to have helped you reach to this moment in time, and how much reflection and dedication it does take to get there in this kind of athletic environment. So thank you so much for sharing that today.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to today's episode. Please rate and review this podcast so that it can continue to thrive and reach more listeners. I love to know who my listeners are, so please screenshot this episode and tag me on Instagram at Anna F. Hastie. And I look forward to connecting with you in the next episode.